Welcome everyone to another fun Let's Talk series here today, commercial software licensing. With the example, of course, with our ExactScan, OCR Get, Recompress and all our fun little software. And I thought we are generous, so the way this works, also initially, right, for those who are new to this channel, actually I founded ExacCode for embedded open source stuff, but that didn't pay very well. So eventually, and by pure chance, we also ended up doing some end user professional software, so like this paperless office stuff, ExactScan, OCR Get, Recompress. And of course, we needed some licensing scheme for that. And initially, of course, as always, you just start. By the way, fun fact, I initially not being the greatest fan of Microsoft's messaging and criminalizing hackers and stuff. Initially, even the very first versions of our pure scanner driver stuff for the special scanners was actually based on like fair licensing. You will use it commercially, you should have a license. But yeah, fun fact, 98% of the customers didn't pay that so much too. Also, yeah, we trusted like scanner companies. We worked in the beginning with some scanner companies, and it's like, yeah, you tell those commercial people, it's like, yeah, you use it at some customer client stuff, and you pay license. We found some energy companies, they use 200 scanners with like 5 licenses or so. But until then, they are a very good customer now. They have a nice service contract now. But anyway, long story short, so you can of course come up with multiple licensing schemes. And after 98% not paying customers, we transitioned to a proper license activation code thing. And there are two main things. You can either use some key generator stuff to do this offline, like you would have done in the 90s, also without permanent internet connection. So the way that worked is just some mathematic code and like Windows license 11111, and if this divides by 13 and whatever, then it's a valid license. Or you do this modern stuff of license manager over the internet, which is of course also what we have done then. And of course, we don't pay there some Oracle-like company for some license manager fees. Of course, how you do as a small company, you implement your own small little license managing thing. And again, even there, even initially we had 98% pirate copies of ExactScan, and ExactScan version 1, of which was more the drivers for all the professional scanners. Even then, we thought, yeah, let's do this fair, because nothing more annoying. You license a software version 2, and then like a year later there is version 3 and you need a new upgrade license or something. So I actually thought we'd do it fair, and like only if there is a major version, or we promised like 2 years of update, and if there's a major version, they eventually would be paid upgrades. And even there we were so busy still trying this open source thing. And even then, the first years, we didn't charge that. So the first like 7 years with that, customers got 100 updates, because ExactScan was new. Of course, in the meantime, it matured a lot. Didn't have all the options. Also, initially, we only had ExactScan. Later, we had ExactScan Pro with OCR and other features, and more stuff was added. And yeah, so also the price dropped significantly, right? Initially we had only ExactScan, which was I think $89 or euro, and then we added ExactScan Pro, which was $129, again commercial business software, and we decreased even the price, right? We were so fair. In the meantime, first ExactScan was in $79 and ExactScan Pro $99, which it is for a decade now, and recently now with this various times, we even lowered the price of the regular ExactScan to just $69 for small home office users to get scanning started with professional scanning. So the long story short, just a little bit background, but the issue is now, or the issue has been for some years. So initially we gave those people 100 whopping updates of some new option here, a little fix there, better compression there, more accurate D-skew, more scanner drivers, which initially we had like 300. In the meantime, we have over 500. Initially only AVision, later also Canon, Fujitsu, Panasonic, Visioneer, Xerox, and some OEM stuff in between. And so yeah, 7 years of free updates and over 100 minor versions. And then we were totally shocked the negativity after 7 freaking years and 100 updates the first time some 4 or 5 years ago, when the next version wasn't for free anymore, right? People freaked out. You will not believe the negative emails we got, which I will probably make another video. Honestly, 90% of our support email is totally superfluous. The problem is more in front of the display and other negativity. And people not answering, you ask them something, they never answer this. But so what we tried to do is give those people in not 7 years, that certainly doesn't scale if you have salaries and other running costs. And we promise them 2 years of updates, right? It's here support and updates, 2 years of free updates, which I find rather fair. You could wonder, so how could you solve this, right? You could either make this old-fashioned version 15, version 16, and have only updates for that, which sure, we could do. The only problem is we would then need to maintain also different versions. We would need to maintain version 15 for 2 years when we're already at version 16, 17. Also, in the meantime, we of course use year versions based on years. So to make it fair for the people and avoid maintaining old versions for like 2 years to satisfy a promise of 2 years of free updates, I thought it's a fair thing of getting updates for 2 years, which we even, because we're a super fair company, you probably guessed this from initially trusting the users, 98% privacy, to 7 freaking years of free updates, over 100 small updates or small and big updates. Still trying to be super fair to the users. 2 years, which as super fair and generous as I thought we are, we round up to 3 years. So on average, the users get still 3 years of free updates, and they still totally freak out if each day, and this is also why I try to get back more to open source and more professional science stuff and this YouTube channel, because it really gets on my nerves, all the negative emails. You wake up, you see negative emails. You go to bed, you see negative emails. People freaking out, I brought a new Mac and I can't activate the version for latest macOS. Like, yeah, but your license is like 5 freaking years old. Don't you think we also need to work and pay developers to test with the latest Mac and macOS and stuff? And this is a scam, and multiple people threatened us to contact their lawyer. So far, we have not heard from a single lawyer, though. And this is really sad, right? This is, I understand that it's frustrating. Maybe also, fun fact, another data point, right? Each day, yeah, sure, we have some 10,000 users out there in the world, but each day we get multiple emails of, I lost my license because my Mac crashed, my hard drive crashed, my SSD crashed, my whole Mac broke. Which, sure, laptops break and stuff, but the people have no backups, and hard drives obviously still crash, right? And then expect us that this stuff works on a new Mac 5 years later. Why do I make this video? I mean, just as I said, every day we have, yeah, sure, 10,000 users. I mean, thankfully we have 10,000 users out there, which is totally amazing. But this is really, really sad, right? In my opinion, it shouldn't need to be like this. You need to argue to those people, hey, we have running costs. Thank you for your email. Highly appreciate being a customer. But look, your license is 5 years old. It was for version 16 in 2016. I'm really sorry we can't make, I mean, you need to even formulate it nicely. I'm really sorry we have salaries and internet, electricity costs, and need to buy new, and you even need to explain it to those people, right? Hey, we need to buy like new freaking Macs and stuff. And really sorry to inform you, but hey, we can't freaking work for free like 5, 6, 7, even 10 years. I mean, I'm not kidding. Some people they freak out after 10 years. I brought this software in 2012 with version 2 and I want to keep using it. It's like, yeah, but that was like Mac OS like 10.6 or I don't know what, something of that sort. So how to make it better? So unfortunately, to make it better, I think I need to, or what is the consequence? The consequence is, because right now we are actually, I should actually add one thing. So we are even so freaking generous that we do not even limit this 3 years that precisely. So I said on average, right? Because we are currently not as much telemetry sending data home. The people still currently can get like 4, if they're lucky, 5 years free updates. And the only problem is because we at each update, the software is not phoning home, hey, is this still valid? Is this an update for me? And you need to program all of this, right? So the irony is we need to spend extra time and money to make this more strict, to not give people free updates for a year or two longer, like for 4 or 5 years, but strictly at like 2.5 years or something, and then inform them. This is, of course, a little bit complicated, right? I don't want to get too much into the details. Of course, I could, but I don't really want to disclose too much for piracy reasons what we YOLO'd together here on our side. But IT and computer programmers among you could probably imagine some database and web interface manager and digital signatures and stuff. So I think how to avoid what this means to us is, unfortunately, I really would like to sit here and only implement amazing stuff each minute and every day. But due to people like users having worldviews like they have and not even perceiving that this is generous to use the software for 5 years or something when we only promise 2, and then totally freaking out when 5 years later they can't activate the latest version, that unfortunately spend more research and development, which not that much research, so mostly development of changing the licensing stuff so that, and then also to all those people out there, why does telemetry stuff happen, right? So this also means that each update, it's not going straight to some update list and loading the update, but each update the software would ask the license manager, hey, is this still like licensed for me? And certainly with some client-side checks of not side loading that from the website and stuff. So this is not all that trivial, it's some digital signatures and stuff. Some clever engineering. But yeah, instead of making the product better, you just to make people like perceived more happy, so that after 2.5 years, instead of, hey, there's an update, they will get the message, unfortunately, this version is too old to receive new updates, and there is a pointer to the web store. I also don't like this, right? But I think you could always, if you're a big company, what else to do? I mean, sure, you could always read research papers and make A/B testing. You could, of course, but if you make A/B testing, like, how are customers more happy? First of all, it takes years, right? You cannot A/B test for a month or two. Certainly more like 6 months or 12 months. And it costs even more money, right? If you need to implement all this stuff and then A/B test of giving some customers A and some customers B. And I certainly don't have that much time and money. But I think to avoid this, that users get too long free updates and then 5 years later are unhappy that they can't activate their shiny new Mac, which is of course the irony, right? Giving Apple all the money and then not having money for software. But it's also the mindset that really irritates me. Being so unthankful and not only, but often full of negativity and aggressions and threatening to sue other small companies. 5 years later, not realizing, oh, I did use this already for 5 years, and just giving there some tips to this company that helps every day to manage the office workflow and stuff. But yeah, just wanted to share this frustration and what all software companies, of course, Microsoft gives 2 cents of an F about that. It's certainly also, especially if the stuff goes to call centers and help desks in cheap labor companies and not like here on our desk. Sure, I could also outsource our help desk to such companies, but not only do I not find this very ethical, but I also wouldn't want such, have you try to switch it off and on IT support for our users. But yeah, that is a sad state of software, of users, of sure, and people could say, but yeah, why don't you use the App Store? In another video you told us you don't do this App Store anymore. It's like, yeah, the App Store doesn't help, right? The App Store doesn't have upgrade mechanisms, so the only thing is software subscription, which I was actually already considering, right? I mean, sometimes, and this is also the crazy thing, sometimes the users even send another email, like 7 emails for, I find it unfair that I 5 years later need to pay for this, and so on. I want to. The funny thing is always, sometimes I answer something, and then they come back. I want to speak to your manager. It's like, yeah, thank you very much. Your manager is already on your email, but yeah, this is the reality, the sad reality, and why I thought I make more funny videos here. Yeah, so I also in general probably I make another video. I've previously already made some videos about the craziest support emails. Maybe we do this another day again. I just wanted to, yeah, share this commercial software licensing. Totally not easy to do right, but or to do fair. Even if you thought you do super fair, the people don't even realize that, and that is a crazy part. And the App Store, again, what I should conclude with the App Store, no updates. So you have the same issue. You could only like disable. The App Store would even more unfair if to have this 2-year cycle in the App Store. Either we would need, because the App Store has 0 mechanisms for paid and discounted upgrades, you would need, and this is also hilarious, right? A decade later in the freaking App Store, and there's nothing of this. Of course, Apple wants subscriptions to have recurring profit, and otherwise, to simulate that, we could make every 2 years a major version in the update, like a new app that there are maybe no discounts for, or the Apple preferred way of cashing in every month and making that a subscription, which I also already considered. Maybe we make it an option, either license it for 2.5 years of included updates, or pay monthly $4.99 or so, which is theoretically a little bit more if they desperately wanted to. The only problem is if you have subscriptions, it is, if you do manage that yourself without like external stuff like Apple, invoicing is a little bit of a challenge, because for the subscriptions, a lot of overhead for this micro invoices, if you are not a Fortune 500 company and you need to issue invoices for all the $4.99, maybe issue yearly invoices, but in either case, the invoicing and financial transaction overhead then becomes a significant burden. Anyway, just wanted to share this frustration of what can happen or what could go wrong. You designed it generously and people don't view it that way. And yeah, one last note, the people also are not the most forthcoming, right? For example, the user today, they didn't even include, they just wrote, I can't activate my software. And then you always need to already answer, it's like, what's the error message, right? They very often, but that is a topic for another video, very often the people don't include neither what hardware they are running, like Mac or Windows or version. Often they include nothing, right? They only say, I can't scan, or sometimes even paper jam. The other day someone wrote they have a paper jam and can't scan, and then like colleague asked me, what should I answer them? Have you checked whether it's a paper jam? And why we were, he was like, what should I answer to that? What should I do with this user? It's like, I was just like, maybe ask them if they have a paper jam. And why we were thinking the second email came, problem solved, I had a paper jam. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. Anyway, yeah, that is a fun open source, nobody pays you, and commercial, even there, 5 years. The user today was 2014, maybe. I think 7 years or so, right? 7 years and discussing already the third emails like, yeah, I find it unfair. Does it mean that? And it's like, oh my God. Anyway, yeah, double face palm stuff, which is why I wanted to document it. Thought Beagle writes, maybe a model similar to JRiver Media Center would work for you, or they release a new version each year with an upgrade price each year. But you could skip some years. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, you can also skip at us all years, right? We made it the most like rolling update. You can even after 10 years use this discounted upgrade pricing. Which, fun fact, even, sure, we have an enterprise version for true enterprise, but hey, there are 5,000 euro scanners, right? You think we support a 5,000 euro Canon production scanner with a 99? All of those prices are cheap, except maybe for really home users without much of budget. The irony is, although, of course, as usual, only unsatisfied and negative people with problems write to your support. Occasionally, happy people write, which is of course amazing. So it's like probably 9 to 1 ratio, 90% issues obviously, and 10% happy users. And of course sometimes, and there you see the disconnect, right? 10% really sometimes, or maybe less than 10%, but a few users write either, hey, this is amazing software, I wanted to tell you, super amazing. I work in IT, I know very well you never hear this, but hey, that is amazing. And sometimes truly successful business users write, hey, the software is really good, but it's too cheap. Some people really write it's too cheap, right? And then on each day, this update discussions of, yeah, fun stuff. So yeah, now I need to go write some licensing manager stuff. So basically this will be a little bit like thought writes, just a little bit still rolling. I have already, I was thinking about this already for a couple of years already. All right, last but not least, we have actually the problem, even our small company has the problem that people scam us, right? They buy the software, usually with PayPal, and then ask PayPal for the money back. And sometimes PayPal gives those people the money back. We don't have that much influence. We always say they purchased it, they activated it, they're using it, but sometimes PayPal gives so, or they are even more evil and just via their credit card request the money back through the bank. And right now we don't have a mechanism of telemetry home. So once they activate it, but don't try that at home, don't scam us there for that. But yeah, that is really crazy what criminal energy people use. And the problem with that is currently we have no mechanism to recall the software. And actually, honestly, then I will change this the next weeks to only update when it's within 2.5 years and refuse to run newer versions. Then that is that I will probably add also revocation, remote revocation. So each time it's checking on the update with some anonymous hash that doesn't, or at least doesn't include the license or user information, just like some hash of this activation, and is it still activated or is it a revoken license? And it's like, yeah, set but true, but this eventually with some 10,000 users in the wild, eventually you would want to implement first of all that the people, at least if they got the money back via their bank and PayPal don't continue to use it, and also eventually at least not get updates, but probably even remote deactivate it, which is rather which anyway, our software is free download, 14-day trial. I anyway don't see the reason why people need the money back, right? I find this also rather unfair and also waste of our time, right? Sometimes people write, I brought it and it doesn't work for me, I want my money back. And it's like, yeah, but now you waste our time, right? We need to refund this, we need to issue and like refund invoice. either you have it quite automated, and you waste at least some time or some more time, depending on how automated you have that. Plus, the user could theoretically continue to use it if you don't have remote deactivation, which is also, why I totally can see with all the negative hate always about software telemetry and license activation. But after 15 years in this industry, our small company has seen so much between piracy and scams and just pure waste of time that is unfortunately the reality of if you want to be able to feed your family and cover your running costs and stuff, which, anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, especially how rough the world is out there in probably everything. Not only software, there are even working on a farm, especially if you have John Deere trucks that don't want independent repair or software here. So I hope you learned something, and if you work on this stuff, maybe that is a tip or two of what to think about in the long term. Hope to see you next time. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope you learned something.